1212 Radio Culture. Yes, indeed. Anytime you hear the bingo drama beat around this time on this network, you know it's time. Groundation Airborne right now on Radio Culture. Yes, indeed. Today we will try to look at the issue of the Supreme Court's decision on the cannabis law in Ghana. Last week we all read on the news, or we all heard on the news, that the Supreme Court of Ghana had struck out the law or the bill that was supposed to be passed into law to allow for the cultivation of cannabis. Let me just put it that way. We'll get the nuanced explanation from my guest today. But let me just say that we all read about the law indicating that the Supreme Court had struck out the bill, or at least sections of the bill. And that set many people talking and thinking, lambasting, and all type of thing. But I think the discussion is a little more nuanced than that. And so to help us do that, to get to the nuance of it, we have invited Nana Agyemang, who is no stranger either to this platform or to the subject in Ghana. Before we go on though, take this one. It's called Mary Juju from yours truly, Jabila. We'll be right back. One song every time. Let me bring everywhere. Oh yeah. Why they fight you now? See channel, officer see channel, see channel, officer see channel, officer see channel, I just smoke it to elevate my mind. I just smoke it to deal with the hustle and the grind. I just smoke it to cope with You light up my world. Radio culture. And at the evening as you put me to bed. Yo, every day we are on it, sometimes we are on it, enough times we are done it, and when it's fresh, we are so happy. Say over the hill, the farmer man are growing, and up there in a Nkonya, them and them are bagging. Up there in Konya, them and them are growing. Yes, and a bag it. But guess what? What we are talking about today is slightly different from what Okubi Asel are the Nkonya man them a bag. Let's get into the nuance. Abdul Rahman, Nana Agyemang. Salam alaikum, Nana.
Walaikum salam.
And thank you so much for making time for us once again. You are exceptional. Every time we come knocking on your door, you open it. You are one true soldier for this cause. Thank you once again.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right, Nana. Let's start the discussion like this. Last week we all saw or heard the, on the news, and we also saw on social media how people were riled up about what was happening and all of that. What's the furor all about?
Well, I mean, basically, the Supreme Court, they adjourned the case from last week, Wednesday, which I think was the 17th. They adjourned it for 7 days till the 24th. And basically, it was a case whereby the Attorney General had filed for a review on a previous case that was heard, the initial case that was heard, where the plaintiff alleged that basically due process wasn't followed, and because of that, there was a breach of Section 106 and 108 of the Constitution. Now, this referred to an amendment to the Narcotics Control Bill, or Act, which was passed on the 20th of March 2020. Now, on that day, it was on that day that Section 43, as an amendment, was added to the Act, and the whole thing was passed on that day. Now, the complainant alleges that that section was clandestinely added to the Act, and that there was no debate about the amendment, and that amendment certainly wasn't gazetted, which it should have been gazetted 14 days. Subsequently, the bill was passed, the Act became law, the President assented to it the 11th of May 2020. But the plaintiff argues that the breach of Constitution by not following the process meant that that section is unconstitutional.
So the issue was with just that section, not the whole entire bill, is it?
No. It's an act. It's law. It's law. The law still stands.
Okay.
But
so
that particular section,
all right.
Section 43, has been taken out of the Act.
Okay. So that's what I'm trying to understand. We still have a law in place, but part of it has been struck out. However, it looks as if the part that has been struck out is the foundation of the law itself, isn't it, Nana?
Well, no, because there are other important sections within the law itself. You see, there has been a change in the law insofar as now, basically, if you are to apprehend someone and they have small amounts of marijuana or weed, which we call it locally, then they shouldn't necessarily face prison.
And that's law.
It should be, yes. They shouldn't go to prison for that. They shouldn't go to prison. It's just that the amount hasn't been quantified. We don't know what the amount is. It's
yeah, because small amounts is very relative. To some people that I know, small amounts could be an ounce.
Yeah. So we've not really clarified that yet, and I think it's within the legislative instrument that itself would be clarified. So it's all about dealing with harm reduction. This is how this law has been structured.
Nana,
it's talking about yes.
I understand from my previous conversations with you, both on air and in private, that it's very different what people are referring to when they speak about this matter, right? A lot of people think we're talking about smokable marijuana, like, and then you also are making a point that no, we're talking about industrial hemp. Why are we bundling these two together since they are different? You are trying, you let us know that they are different. Why are we bundling them together?
Well, I think it's a cultural thing, isn't it? It's a cultural thing. There's ignorance involved.
No, I'm talking about the bill, the presentation of the bill, and all of that. Because right now, you just mentioned that part of it has been struck out, but part of it still stands. And part of the part that stands, for instance, has to do with, small amounts of smokable marijuana. So why are we putting the two together in the same law, in the same bill, since they are not the same?
I'm just telling you, but it should be that way. I'm just telling you that the principle of the law is about harm reduction, and there's a focus on not just throwing people behind bars for 5, 10, and 15 years anymore. It's like it takes the view that perhaps there's a problem, and this is the reason why the person is indulging. So we should find out if there's a problem, and does it need to be addressed in terms of rehabilitation and all that kind of stuff. That's I'm just talking about the principle of the law.
I do get that. I'm just very confused about why we all agree, or at least I'm assuming the people who are putting this forward know or agree that it's not the same thing, or at least that's what we're positing, that it's not the same thing, yet we are bundling it together in the same law, and it's a bit convoluting. I don't know, but let's go on. The person that brought the case before the court, the plaintiff, Agyemang Man, I think the name is, made a point of law. The issue was about law, not really about anything else, considering the legalization or whatnot of cannabis. Am I correct in saying that? They just wanted to see the right thing done.
About the process, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
About the process. Because basically, you see, the law in itself in the beginning had nothing in there that gave the minister the due authority to, based on the recommendations from the Narcotics Control Commission, to issue anyone with licenses. There was nothing like that in the bill. So when you come to introduce something that significantly changes the bill, then it should be gazetted. You see? Because the bill has totally changed from what it was. There was nothing in there at all about it.
Yes.
It was all harm reduction based, this and that, blah, 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 blah. So what happened was, it wasn't gazetted. It wasn't gazetted. And this is what that plaintiff is concerned with. We didn't give the ordinary Ghanaian the opportunity to voice an opinion about changes to the narcotics law that could possibly be introduced. No one knew. You know, people knew that there was a bill coming through and stuff like that. But this significantly changed it, and so you've got to let people know. Now, the Attorney General, he was of the view that no, they weren't saying the right thing. You could, it's like you're involving yourself where you shouldn't involve yourself. This is Parliament and you are the Supreme Court. But they rode over that and told him no, he's wrong.
What's your own take on that? Because we all agree that, or we all know or have been told that Parliament is a master of itself. Parliament makes laws. And now here comes another arm of government to say, no, you got it wrong. What's your take on that?
Well, I think they got it wrong. I think they got it wrong. That's my thought on it.
Okay.
I think they've got it wrong because all they have to do is gazette it. We have to gazette it. I accept perhaps time was running out because I was there on the day when all this was done. I was there. You see, so I know all about it.
Okay, Nana.
Go on.
Yeah, for a better understanding, let me ask this question. Let's take it step by step. So the bill was prepared by who and presented? Because this is what I mean. Did the Attorney General just decide to craft the bill and present it, or is it a group of people who presented it and then the Attorney General is presenting it on their behalf? What's going on there?
It was a group of people. It was the Parliamentary Select Committee on Interior and Defence. It was that ministry.
Okay.
And we were involved in working on the bill, etc., etc. So once we put it together, then it go. I mean, there were MPs on the platform anyway, on the Parliamentary Select.
How did that start? Did anybody lobby them? Did anybody push for it, or it was just something that they themselves thought necessary to do?
No, we pushed for it.
Okay.
That's why we were there.
Good. That's what I'm trying to find out.
Because it was a Parliamentary Select Committee that had parliamentarians from both sides. It had the Narcotics Control Commission, as they're called now, and other stakeholders. Ghana Export, what's that? GEPA. Ghana Export Promotions Authority was there. There are lots of other authorities that were there, along with, people from Civvy Street. Ordinary folk who didn't have any positions up there, who also considered to be stakeholders. So we all were having these roundtable meetings, looking at cannabis, looking at the pros and cons, and weighing the whole thing up. Some MPs even went to different countries. I mean, those from GEPA went to Canada for some days to go and see what was happening there. Others went to United States,
Wow. Okay. Nana, the section 43 that was struck out, right? Section 43 is what was struck out. And I think you already gave us a good idea what's contained in the section 43 and why that was the bone of contention. Apart from that itself, right? If we were to take section 43 out and allow the rest of the law to stand, how does that benefit Ghanaians? Is that still, you've mentioned the small quantity, aspect, which I think is great news for a lot of people, except that we don't know what small quantity is at this time. But what else is in there? What else is there for Ghanaians to be joyful about?
Well, nothing really.
Nothing?
No, nothing, because the pinnacle of the whole thing is being able to cultivate, being able to process, being able to manufacture. You see? So once you really take that out, very little or nothing. It's the old PNC law. That's what it is, and it's being reviewed and revised. So nothing.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, Nana, the law is very confusing, to be honest with you. The whole thing, it's not the law. I don't even know what exactly is in the law. But the whole talk of this is very confusing to the very informed people that I know are still getting it wrong. You know, what is the role of the media in all of this? Is the media helping, or are they doing damage to this whole cause?
Well, to be honest with you, the reportage on the day that this was announced was terrible. It was terrible. I mean, they don't know the difference between industrial hemp and marijuana. And all their screaming headlines were talking about marijuana. Oh, you won't be able to cultivate weed in Ghana and all this kind of stuff. It was totally unnecessary. They can't take the time to do a small research so that they would understand what was before the Supreme Court. I went on Joy FM on their news night, and Emma Farr-Powell was reading the news, and I had to say to her that, look, you know, I love you to the bone, but all that you're saying is fake news. It's got no relevance at all to do with what took place in the Supreme Court, because you're talking about marijuana, you're talking about, but the Supreme Court is talking about industrial hemp. That's what it's all about. The law itself is only talking about industrial hemp.
Okay.
So why, you know, why on your website you've got pictures of, you know, spliffs along with marijuana and all that kind of stuff?
Do you think that's intentional? Do you think that's intentional? Because we know that there are vested interests in Ghana that do not want to see this happen, and they could have people working for them the same. Do you think it's intentional, or do you think people are just not getting it? People just don't understand.
Yeah, it's difficult to say. I say 50-50, to be honest with you. Because these are intelligent people, mind you, who are reading the news and researching the news. You know, a lot of them are highly qualified. And this is something that's simple. But culturally, they've bought into something whereby, you see, because we use this term Indian hemp, we think once you talk about hemp, you're talking about marijuana.
Yeah.
That's not that. You know, that's not the case. And it's hard to get it out of their head because it's a cultural thing.
Okay, that leads me to my next question, Anna. The talk is about industrial and medicinal versus recreational. But I want to say that even with medicinal marijuana or medicinal cannabis, let me put it that way, even with medicinal cannabis, there's still smokable cannabis. You and I had this discussion on the side, or I think it wasn't even on the side. I think it was on the last time you were on this platform, and you seem not to agree that there's smokable CBD for medicinal purposes, but there is, Nana.
Yeah, that's fine. That's all good and well.
But
it's not something that we need to talk about in terms of Ghana, because once it's smokable, everybody's going to have a problem with it.
You see, that presents a problem because don't we have to be clean as a whistle on the subject? Because I think that's part of the reason why there's so much confusion. I think that the presenters of the bill themselves are not making it clear enough. I think so.
No, I don't think so. We have been very clean. And I'm saying to you...
So then why do you want to hold stuff back then? Because you just mentioned that we don't have to speak about certain things.
This issue of CBD being smokable, it's a matter of genetics. Because now people are genetically modifying seeds so that they produce...
That's true.
CBD.
They're getting Delta 8 variants.
And all these different kinds of things, these different varieties. Before it was not like that. It was just simple. CBD, fiber, industrial hemp, right? Marijuana, CBD, tetrahydrocannabinol delta 9, THC, simple, right? If we're grappling with just that, now you want to add CBD smokable for blah, blah, blah. Where are we going to go?
No, Nana, my point is this. We are advocating for the cultivation of cannabis for industrial and medicinal purposes.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is this: why can't we be straightforward with the people and say, hey, for the medicinal, right? Because we're making good points and we are making points that are fact checkable, right? So why don't we come clean and tell the people that yes, part of the medicinal, the part of the category that carries the medicinal tag includes some that you can smoke.
No, not necessary.
It's not necessary, or you said not necessarily.
It's not necessary.
Why?
It's not. That's not the approach we have taken.
Okay.
Because the people cannot understand. If you try and teach a baby how to drive a car, it's not going to work, is it?
No, I don't agree with you on that, Nana.
The baby will not understand.
You see, but
We've
that presents a
30
problem.
million babies here. No, we have 30 million babies here.
I beg to differ about the 30 million, maybe 20 something million, because there are some people who do understand, don't you?
No, the population here is 35 million.
Okay.
I beg to differ with you because look, you're detached. You know what's going on in Ghana.
Nah.
You're in wherever you are.
You
Texas,
see,
Miami,
I'm not in Miami.
I'm on the ground, my brother. Your access to information via www. cannot compare to me living in Ghana. It cannot compare.
Nah.
There's no comparison.
FYI, I grew up in Ghana.
On the ground.
I know.
I'm on the ground.
I know.
No, I'm not even taking that.
Okay.
Tell your listeners that. Don't tell me that.
No,
You're
not
on the ground.
Okay.
You are not on the ground. There's nothing for you to respond. It's a fact. You are not.
I am not in Ghana, but my feet are firmly planted on the ground. Let me tell you, Nana. Let me tell you something, Nana. Nana, you lived in England. You lived in no. Let me make a point, Nana.
To talk about this.
We are, but we have to get to the nuance of it. We have to get to the nitty-gritty of it. Nana, you lived in England for a very long time, but when you came to Ghana, you were very functional. I mean, you knew what was going on before you came to Ghana, right? And I do agree with you that I am not in Ghana right now, so you may have a better.
I wasn't on the ground.
What?
There's no may about it, bro. There's no I may have. There's no may at all.
See, okay, like you said, that's not even the crux of this discussion. But I just want to make you aware that I am very much in touch with the subject, which is why I'm trying to understand, and we all, you and I together, break it down for everybody else to understand, because the law is being made for these people, for everybody in Ghana. So, for instance, if we have the idea that they are going to legalize weed as the press or the media, this is why I asked about the role of the media, because if the media is painting a certain picture and all Ghanaians think that they are buying into this idea, only to be told at the later date that, oh, no, we're not talking about that, we're talking about something else. That is a problem, don't you agree?
Yeah, but Harvard's been telling people that it's all industrial hemp. We've been telling everybody every day it's industrial hemp. It's industrial hemp. Once you use the word hemp, culture kicks in, and hemp is associated with India, and Indian hemp means smoking weed. That's what it is. And I'm saying to you, everybody in Ghana is saying, yeah, more education is needed. More education is needed. All right? Mm-hmm. No matter how much education you put out there, trust me.
I think the education.
Ghana, heads in Ghana are empty. Brown.
Okay, that's your opinion, but I think that the education will go down better if we are more, straightforward with the matters rather than nitpicking what we want to present. Versus I know that I know it's an approach, and I know that there's a
No one is nitpicking. No one is nitpicking.
Nana, you just said that you didn't want to say.
No, you listen.
Yes.
I was at the Parliamentary Select Committee. You wasn't there.
No, I wasn't.
Right? We didn't discuss CBD smoking to relieve pain or to help you sleep or blah blah blah. We didn't discuss any.
So then why bring the medicinal in at all? If you didn't discuss all that, why are you bringing?
You can use CBD without smoking, my brother.
I do know that. You can have the oil, the tinctures, all of that.
So that is why medicinal is included.
But Nana,
because
so
CBD oil is there.
CBD oil is there. Some of the CBD oil is smokable also. But let's not even go there because that's different.
What I'm saying to you is, we didn't discuss that at Parliamentary Select Committee. Right? That is something that fast forward 5 years, because that Parliamentary Select Committee is like 5 years ago. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward, people have engineered the seed in some way so that you can grow it with more THC, less CBD, more CBD, no THC, and lots of different other ways. And now people know that, okay, you can smoke the industrial hemp for chronic pain relief, blah, blah, blah. There's no high or anything because there's no THC. We didn't discuss any of that. We're presenting a straightforward matter. Industrial hemp provides you with fiber, and it also provides you with oil. Okay,
so the medicinal oil can be got from the same fiber, from the same hemp?
Yes, of course.
Okay, all right.
And it also provides food. Hemp seeds are food.
Yes. Very delicious. Yes.
Yes, and very nutritious.
Yes.
And so I'm
absolutely.
That,
great protein source.
And so I'm saying that's the foundation is fiber and oil. That's what needed to be presented.
Okay.
What you can do with the oil after you've got is another thing.
All right.
That's another thing.
All right. Okay. We'll leave that at that. Nana, did the parliament or did the committee or whoever is handling this, did they look at best practices around the world? What other countries are doing? All of that. Did they do? You already mentioned that some people went to Canada.
Yeah, they tried.
I hope it wasn't like a day trip. Are they really looking at best practices?
No. They spent like 5-10 days there at various places. Some went to Europe. So they had a look.
Okay. Now, do you think our parliamentarians know what this is all about? Because, like you said, there are a lot of empty heads. I wonder if some of these empty heads are in parliament too.
Yeah, of course they are.
So you don't think they totally understand? They have a total grasp of the subject.
If you have a system where empty-headed people are exploited by people who have money to get them into parliament, what do you think will be in parliament? It's just people who have money, but their heads in terms of legislation is equally empty.
Wow.
Simple.
Okay, Nana, we'll be right back after this commercial break.
DocPalm is back with all new exciting time with your medical doctors and health professionals. Did you know that DocPalm has introduced all new opportunities to chat with your preferred physician for free? Yes, you heard me right. Chat consultation on DocPalm is free. Download DocPalm on Google Play Store and App Store. DocPalm, convenience. DocPalm, your health in your palm. Terms and conditions apply.
Open the gate, please.
All right. Back on the case with Nana Agyemang, aka Abdul Rahman, the forefront soldier in this fight to legalize, but I'm not sure which one. But anyways. But from what he said, Nana, you are a strategist. You are a football coach, right? So I do understand what when you talk about approach and all that. You have a very pragmatic mind, and I know you're trying to use the best possible ways to get this done, right? But my concern is for everybody else, So please bear with me. All right, Nana, you did mention that we did send people to go look at best practices and all of that. What are some of the feedback they brought back? Do you know?
No, I don't, to be honest with you. Apart from the fact that where they went, people are making money,
And then
Yeah.
we're making none.
And we're making none.
You mentioned in a previous interview that if we're not careful, Ghana will fall behind other African countries in this new green gold rush, right? What are some of the countries in Africa that have made strides or that you know are making strides in this area?
Well, look, Malawi has got Mike Tyson as their ambassador. But for marijuana, he is their ambassador. And Mike Tyson has already said he's making more money per month than he did when he was heavyweight champion of the world.
Look at that.
Well, that should tell you something. That should tell you something. Malawi are cultivating hemp and marijuana.
Did some of the people who were looking at the best practices look at any of these African countries? South Africa, for instance.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. They were on the map, but not prominently at that time. So the focus was the United States, Canada's, was Europe. It wasn't really places in Africa, countries in Africa, to be honest.
And then Parliament, did they get expert advice from within? Because what I know is that, for instance, like last couple weeks ago, I was in Albany, New York, and I saw a friend of mine. So we were driving around, everything, drove by a cannabis store, and then he waved at somebody. And what he told me is that this guy used to be my provider, so to speak, right? Now, this provider, in quotes, is all suited up and is manning a dispensary. I'm sure that if we look within Ghana, we'll find a lot of people with a lot of great ideas to follow that route. Do you know if we did any consultation from within?
Yeah, well, they consulted us. We are the stakeholders.
And who? Okay, so what's the representation of the stakeholders? Who forms the stakeholders?
Well, nobody looked at percentages, my brother. Nobody looked at percentages. But there were different interest groups there, 4 or 5 or so different interest group, drug-related groups that were there. There was a group that was dealing with prisoners. There was the West African drug something. There were a few groups there. So, you see, the thing about it is this. It's fine trying to talk about people being inclusive and blah, 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 and all that. And I understand all of that. But you can only speak to those who can make themselves available. Right? And those who know the system. Because you know some brothers, right, from the Rastafarian Council, but they didn't attend those meetings.
Were they invited and didn't show up?
They knew of the meetings. Don't try to defend anybody.
I'm not defending nobody. I didn't even know about this meeting, Nana. I'm just finding out if they were invited and did not show up, which would be a completely different matter.
Oh, please. They've been invited to lots of things and not shown up. So please just don't go there.
Nana, I'm dealing with this specific meeting.
I'm telling you about them because, the way you're putting things is as if, people weren't included and whatnot.
No, Nana, I'm asking questions. I'm not putting anything. I'm only asking questions.
The thing about this is an interest group who wants to use marijuana sacramentally.
Yes.
Right? And they were not involved in any of the discussions.
That's what I'm trying to find out if they boycotted the meeting. That's what I'm trying to find out if they
themselves available. That's it. There's a put a full stop there.
Nana, that's not satisfactory to me. That's not satisfactory to me as an answer.
Themselves available. You're joking. You're lucky you're living so far away.
Nah.
You don't want to believe the truth.
No, it's nothing about that. And I'm just asking questions, Nana.
I'm sorry for you.
Nana.
They represent a micro percentage of people in the population who want to use marijuana religiously. but they can't even turn up and present a decent argument about it. They can't.
Nana, this is why I'm trying to find out if they boycotted the meeting.
No, they didn't boycott. They didn't boycott. They just didn't make themselves available.
Were they invited?
They can't contribute at that level.
Nana, were they invited?
Everyone was
We
invited.
know that there's a Rastafari Council of Ghana. Did you send an invite to the Rastafari Council of Ghana?
I didn't.
Because everybody knows that. No, not you, but whoever convened the meeting. Because like you said, the Rastafari community is a major. You said it's a micro something. I don't think it's micro at all. I don't think it's micro at all. I think Rastafari is a major stakeholder in this matter.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Because marijuana is not exclusive to any group.
Nobody said that. Nobody said that. But Nana, nobody said that. But we all know that. Nana, yes.
What we all should know is that more Christians smoke marijuana than Rastafarians. That's what you should know. Possibly, and Muslims too. Possibly. What are you talking about?
Possibly.
You don't have 10,000 Rastafarians in Ghana.
Nana,
what are you talking about?
Let me deal with that.
There are not 10,000 Rastafarians in Ghana.
Okay, Nana, please let me deal with that.
The majority of the people who live in Ghana are Christians.
Yes. But
and they are the ones who are smoking the weed.
But they are not the one who are asking to use it freely and openly. So if you want to, Nana, please let me make this point though. Let me make this point because that might inform your next response anyhow. But what I'm saying is that even though, yeah, I agree with you, a lot of non-Rastafarians, so to speak, or whatever you want to put it as, do smoke it, right? But as a group, we don't have Christian groups that are defending the use of marijuana. These are individuals who are using it. But if we come to a body of people who are saying, hey, we want to use this thing freely in our sacraments, you cannot discount Rasta.
No, but I'm not discounting them. I'm telling you it's a micro.
It's not even micro. That's what I'm trying to argue.
Of course it is. They're not even 0.2% of the population.
Nah. I don't agree with you at all. I don't agree with you. And remember,
you don't have to agree with me. I'm just giving you the facts. You don't have to agree to the facts.
No. I'm not. Hey, who am I? But I'm just saying that. This is becoming interesting. This is really becoming interesting. Anyway, let's just leave that. Let's just leave that where it's at. Because
how many other things are we going to leave?
Exactly. Because
you're leaving everything.
No, but
remember, it's your show. Don't leave things.
No. Hey, Nana, listen. You are the expert. You are the one with the answers. If I ask the questions and don't get a response, then what use is it? It's my show, right? So I really do appreciate you being here, and I really do appreciate your insight. No question about that at all.
I like the banter, but I have to.
Yeah, and I'm asking the questions that people are most likely to ask. So don't even think it's me asking. I'm just asking the general questions that are most likely to be presented, right?
It's you asking. It's you.
Yeah, I'm representing everybody. I'm representing the empty heads. So, so pardon my ignorance on some things. Anyhow, Nana, if we are going to have any conversation about marijuana, cannabis, hemp, however you put it in Ghana, we cannot be very successful if we do not involve the Rastafari community, true or false?
Well, they kind of a rep there. I mean, they've got nothing to say, to be honest with
you. That's scathing.
It's reality.
See, that brings me back to if they were invited to the table and did not show up.
Yeah, they were invited, Charlie. Look, we've even invited them to come to court when we were sitting there for like 5 months every day. They only came once. They only came once.
Okay. Wow. All right.
And I'm saying to you that, look, don't, The Rastafarian issue is simple. Marijuana isn't exclusive to them. Marijuana came to Africa from Asia. That's where it came from Asia. Let's not forget that. They've been using it for thousands of years, and it's come across to Africa and to the Caribbean and blah, blah, blah. It's not exclusive to any group. And the group that is calling for sacramental use is a very, very, very tiny group.
I don't think that anybody is claiming that.
Want to smoke it, and we understand that.
Yeah, we do. I don't think anybody is claiming that it's exclusive to Rasta people or anything like that. But for a group that has stood up as a unit to defend the same thing that we are saying right now, legalize it, right? People being to jail, people like Big Dread, been to jail for many years and all of that. At the time when Rastas were being persecuted and sent to jail and being called all types of names, when there was a negative slant on this. Eventually, if we are, we have an opportunity to push for legalization, I think that the Rastafari community should be an integral part of that. I think so.
I've got no problem with that. They must make themselves available.
They should just make themselves available. Okay, all right. And that's why I'm going to leave it at that, because what else is there to do? We have to find out why they didn't come to the table, right?
Precisely. Precisely.
Yes. We'll go into it, because I think this has to be done properly. And I do commend you, right? Because once more, I'm not saying that it's exclusive to anybody. So if anybody else comes up to take up the fight, regardless, we should all throw in our support. But I think that it should be more inclusive. That's all I'm saying. Nana?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
I agree with you.
Cool, great. So Nana, let's go back to the bill. Are you hopeful that it will be reintroduced and eventually passed fully into a law that will work for all Ghanaians?
Well, it's a section, not a bill. Because the bill is an act and it's been passed already. The law is there.
Okay.
It's just that this section 43, that is missing.
Right. So how does it work? Is just the section going to be reintroduced, or the entire bill is going to be reworked and implemented?
No.
Okay.
The bill is there.
Okay.
You don't have to do
okay.
it. It's there.
Okay.
How I'm thinking, and bear in mind, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a parliamentarian. How I'm thinking it should work is that we should take, first of all, we need the ruling, right? Because there was the original ruling, we get that ruling, then we get this ruling that upheld the ruling, we put those together, we go through it, and there are people who didn't support it, who wrote things about it. And I dare say there's one or two judges who joined the plaintiff in the plaintiff's confusion about what it was we're actually talking about, because the plaintiff actually said in his original or her original affidavit that if this section is allowed to prevail, that it could cause considerable harm in our communities. Now that illustrates to me quite clearly that the plaintiff don't want it to be industrial hemp and marijuana. So in getting all these points out, it will also be an addendum to the amendment, along with all the benefits that there are with industrial hemp, both industrially and medicinally. We won't have to list everything, but perhaps a page or two, one industrial, one medicinal, of all the benefits, because it will wipe out this fear that, people can abuse, and you cannot abuse industrial hemp. You just can't abuse it. It's not possible. You can't abuse
unless
CBD.
You're gouging yourself with too much CBD oil or something.
You just can't abuse it. It's
Nana,
not possible to.
Did you know that CBD oil is actually great for hair growth also?
Well, I've still got hair. I don't know about you, but I've still got hair. So I don't know about you.
I still got hair, but I want more. How about that?
Yeah, me too. I'd love the grayness.
And then I want my hair to be healthy. I just want my hair to be healthy. My hair was breaking and going on all type of ways. And then, let's leave that about this. It was just an aside, really. But yeah, it is great for hair growth, And we all knew this way back, Nana. Even before. Go ahead.
I
Sorry.
use this hemp cream. I'm sure you've seen it. It's got the bits of marijuana in there, like the leaves and all that.
Indian hemp. It's called Indian hemp. It's actually called Indian hemp.
Yeah, that I use that.
Mm-hmm.
I use that.
Yes, there's another one called Kuza or something like that, which is, which also has that in it.
There's quite a few.
Yeah.
But what I want to tell you is this: is that the while people make all this fuss, but basically in 1961, the UN Convention, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, on national drug controls that's governing cannabis, said that it basically said that CBD shouldn't be classified as a drug, right? Because it has no potential for abuse and no potential to produce dependency. That was in 1961, and the European court, because there was a case whereby the French court had a case where somebody was selling e-cigarettes with the CBD cartridge, right?
Yep.
And he got arrested and all this kind of stuff, and it went to court. And when they looked at it, they said like there is no basis for the man to come to court because CBD can't do anybody anything.
Any harm.
And no, seriously. And then after that, they also said that it would be inconsistent if they imposed a marketing ban on these e-cigarettes with CBD cartridges, while they allow synthetic CBD to still be on the loose. Yeah, so it's been rescheduled time and time again. It's not a narcotic. So even the fact that you want to cultivate industrial hemp plants, you shouldn't even really need a license.
Yep.
You shouldn't need a license because industrial hemp comes with 0.3 THC maximum. It's non-psychotic. So what's the problem?
So see, that brings me to my next question. And that the ignorance is out of this world. Because just a while ago, you were telling us about the plaintiff's issue with abuse and whatnot, and it will do harm to the society, and that indicating her ignorance. This is also the foundation on which the ruling was made. This is the same foundation on which some of the judges made their ruling, and like you said, joined her in making that decision, that ruling. What's happening there? It looks as if we're dealing with a lot of ignorance in this whole thing.
Yeah, there is. And the foundation of it is cultural more than anything else. Because look, back in the days when you were younger, your mum said, if you see, well, he didn't say Rastaman then, you call him something else, but if you see a guy who's got dreadlocks, start running. Not be true.
They be true.
Yeah.
Which is why they cannot be left out of the equation. Which is why they have to be called to the table. You just made my point, Nana.
They're not left out. They must make themselves available.
Yes.
I'm just saying, it's taken a long while now for that to change. And you can still go into some villages.
Yes.
And you've got a toddler there who's 2 or 3.
Yes.
He'll start crying as soon as he sees you. And if you try to pick him up, he'll have an epileptic fit.
Let me tell you a story, Nana. Years ago, when I was in the University of Ghana, I went to go visit my friends at University of Science and Technology. And we went to Kumasi, right? We went to the city. We were in a trotro, and there was this, we were actually in a taxi. And there was this woman who was carrying a baby, right? And the baby was like doing too much. And the woman was trying to calm, it wasn't a baby, it was like a little toddler. And she was trying to calm the toddler down. You know what she said to the toddler? If you don't stop, I'll let these guys catch you. If you don't stop misbehaving, I will let these guys catch you. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yes.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're saying, but
it promotes fear, doesn't it? It promotes serious fear.
It does. We have a lot of work to do. I agree with you. Okay, Nana, let's look at we have just 9 minutes left. Let's look at another aspect that I saw you bring up in your interview on Joy FM. You did mention that industrial hemp has a great potential to dig us out of the debt crisis that we are in right now. Please throw some little light on that for us.
No, I mean, look, I said to government some time ago that if they gave HAG 3,000 acres, that after the first year, we would give them, I think it was 20 to 30 million every time we harvest.
20 to 30 million what? Dollars?
Yes, every time we harvest. And they're still looking at me.
And how frequent is the harvest?
Yeah,
like how many harvests can you fit into a year?
3.
Okay.
3.
Which is $60 million every year.
60 million minimum, 90 million max.
A year.
Yeah, a year, easily.
From just one facility, from just HAG, right? We're not counting the other potential investors.
No. Just HAG.
Yes.
Give us 3,000 acres, and after the first year, right? So I'll do my stuff for the first year. After the first year, every time I harvest, I'll give you 20 million minimum, 30 million maximum. And it's more to the 30 million. It's easy. The calculation is so easy. Every harvest.
And what was the response?
Well, they're still looking at me. I'm still looking at them now. I can see them with their mouths open. And they're thinking like, how do we get inside all of that? You know, they've not moved. They haven't moved. So the economic implications of all this are really crucial. Because, you know, you've got a president who says we're sitting down on money, but we're hungry. We're hungry because the government doesn't have a clue. They don't have an idea beyond borrowing. That's why we're sitting down and we're hungry. That is why China now has leverage on our oil, on our cocoa, on our bauxite, because of the IMF loan. Should we default? But we didn't have to go that way. All we had to do was establish a brand new industry, which was industrial hemp, and everything would be moving very fine. Seriously. In the 11 months that we waited for this decision from the IMF, with all their conditions that basically place our hands behind our backs, we could have had an harvest.
And you did make a point sometime earlier in this interview that I didn't want to disrupt you, but I made a note of it, which is that the government really has been barred from employing people, right? By the IMF. Some of the conditions is that they have to put a cap on employment.
Yeah,
this industry can't take that responsibility up and employ a huge chunk of people. Do you agree?
Thousands. HAG on its own in one facility will employ over 6,000 direct people in employment.
Wow.
Over 8,000 indirect employed.
Who will be paid good salaries, not hand-to-mouth stuff.
Nothing.
I'm sorry?
No, we've got to be realistic on the salaries. The indirect, those who are on indirect, they're doing their own business. They're coming in there to sell wachi or sachet water.
Yeah.
Or
restaurants, all of that.
It's like a service thing.
Yes.
Yeah, the others inside, the vast majority, they are workers on the farm. But they're working for people who we have turned into entrepreneurs. You see, it's a huge amount. The implications are serious.
Okay.
Are very.
No, we're almost out. But let me ask you one last question. Some time ago, we had a discussion on the side, as we have been doing quite often. And I raised the issue of multinationals or multinationals and the potential for them to jump on the scene and grab the opportunity once everything is, hunky-dory. If we don't have people, Ghanaians, indigenous Ghanaians, who have the wherewithal to invest in, say, hemp plantations, that is a threat, isn't it? And if you can please add to that, how much would be that average cost of establishing a hemp business?
Well, yeah, it is a threat, but it's a threat anyway, irrespective of if we don't have indigenous who want to put their money in there. We've got a lot of indigenous Ghanaians who are rich, but they may not be interested in that, so they won't put their money there. But even if they did, you will still have the multinationals knocking that on. There's no two ways about that. And they will take a slice of the cake.
A slice will be fine, but if they probably will capture it, right? And you remember that I gave you that.
The entire base. They can't capture
well, not if you just sit down and do nothing, because remember I gave you the New York example where people who have been to jail on the account of using marijuana, for instance, get a first shot at getting licenses for the dispensaries and stuff like that. I think that, with your engagement, because you are the forefront of engaging with the people who make the laws, I think you should, suggest some of these things to them so that we protect the industry for the benefit of indigenous Ghanaians, rather than raise an industry that will be hijacked by, external forces because they have the wherewithal to push it.
Well, there are notes that have been made about that. And even though the multinationals are there, they can't have more than 49% share in the company, and they must partner with indigenous Ghanaians. It's already in there.
I see.
But yeah, they still represent a threat.
I see.
Because, one of the things I've seen is that we Ghanaians, we're prepared to front things for expatriates.
Yes.
So we'll front opening the company, doing the bank account, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And we're only getting 1%.
Basically.
We're doing all of that. And the expatriate is taking everything
out of the country, yes.
It's the empty head syndrome again. You see? That's the problem. It's that empty head syndrome.
The work of the government is to protect the citizens. So if we have empty heads...
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, well, they're not doing a very good job at the moment.
Well, I can't speak for the government, but I'm saying it's their duty.
We're all naked, bro. We're naked and hungry without...
I cannot speak for these politicians. I'm just saying what their duty is. Nana, last words before we go.
Well, I mean, look, the struggle continues. I mean, many people put their hands on their head and were crying. As far as I'm concerned, it's 8 years down the road. When we were first talking about it, they said to me, Nana, it will never happen.
Culture.
We've come down the road 8 years later. We're now talking about a section of the law which the Supreme Court believes was introduced clandestinely, so it has to be taken out. We have to go and do the right thing. That's after 8 years. 8 years is a long time to bring the sentence. But we're still here sitting on it. And I say, no retreat and no surrender. We'll get this through. Trust me on that. We will get this through. So nobody needs to put their hands on their head and be crying. Let's join the movement and keep pushing forward. Because that's what you have to do. It's a struggle. And nothing good comes easy.
Not at all.
Just imagine. Nothing good comes
Not at all.
easy.
Very inspiring.
Continues.
Very inspiring. Nana, I think I missed one question. Let's quickly see if we can put that in 1 minute. So I was going to ask you as a follow-up to the reintroduction of the bill question. If now that we know that there are certain things that you said that it was introduced 5 years ago, and since then there have been some developments, right? Now that we know this, wouldn't it be a prudent idea to actually take the opportunity? This seems to be a setback, but we turn it into an opportunity and update the bill. Don't you think that's a good idea?
Look, first of all, we're not talking about the bill. We're talking about an amendment.
Yes, but I'm saying that now that this has come out, isn't it a good opportunity?
There's no room for that.
Yes, okay.
There's no room for that.
Okay.
The amendment is specific. It's talking about cultivation. That's what it's talking about.
Okay.
Nothing else.
Can we add more to not touching what's already there, but can we add to?
No, of course not. We will not do that on this. What we need is for people to be able to apply for licenses. So far as we're reintroducing an amendment, there's no point adding more. Because after this, we have to get the LI through so that we can apply.
Okay, so can we put those developments in the LI?
No, the LI has already been written. No, we can't.
But Nana, isn't that counterproductive? Because you have admitted that there have been developments on the subject. But we're going to say that because it's already been written. We're just going to let that fly without taking into consideration these
No,
developments.
we're not. I'm not saying that. Look, what I'm saying is this: it's one step at a time. The first step is reintroduce the amendment, get it gazetted,
Okay.
get it approved, and get it passed.
Okay.
Then after that is done, the LIB approved, laid on the floor of Parliament. That also has safe passage.
Okay.
Then we can apply for license.
All right.
If there you want to come and amend the law,
then you
come
can
with your amendment.
take that on. Okay. Okay. That's sound. That's a very sound argument.
It's not for this stuff is not for free. You don't just turn up and say I'd like to amend the law. You must pay. You must pay. It's not just something you turn up and say, oh yeah, I'd like to amend the law, and then people listen to you. You must pay for it.
Well,
people
I'm assuming the money would be the least of our problems because they are empty heads to deal with. So, thank you very much, Nana. Nana Agyemang, aka Abdul Rahman. And thank you so much. I just want to say thank you. And by the way, this is not the end because the law or the amendment or whatever has not been done yet. So as and when any development comes, you know where we're going for our answers. Thank you, Nana Agyemang. One love every time.
Thank you.
All right.
To boost up the tourism and the culture, jobs, and foreign exchange. And let go all of the young prisoners from custody. Mr. Hygiene.
Yes, indeed. That was Nana Agyemang, aka Abdul Rahman. This is a very, very, very nuanced issue, isn't it? A lot of people think we're talking about the legalization of marijuana, as in smokable marijuana. No, that's not what's happening. However, the whole matter is tied up with that. And you all heard when Nana Agyemang did mention that the Rastafari community did not even avail itself for the process. We are going to get to the bottom of that. Next week, hopefully, we can have somebody to come and answer on that. We'll try our best to bring somebody from the Rastafari Council to have that discussion. In the meantime, let me tell you about our sponsor, Doc Pam. Charlie, maybe when Doc Pam comes, I can Doc Pam up to ask my doctor if marijuana is the right prescription for me, or what do you say? Yes, medicinal marijuana. Anyhow, yes, Doc Pam is the app that you use to deal or to contact your doctor remotely. With the ratio of doctor patients in Ghana right now, Doc Pam has come as a savior. All you have to do, download the app from the App Store or Google Play Store. And then what you have to do is to register to use it. Then, anytime you need to see a doctor, you just go online and have video conferencing with your doctor. They will tell you what to do in an emergency. If you have to go in and see them, they'll let you know. Otherwise, they'll just give you instructions over the phone. How cool is that? Once more, let me say thank you to our guest for today, Nana Agyemang, Abdul Rahman. We will see you again next week on the same platform with another topic. In the meantime, my name, beloved, I'm out like a light. Let's do this. Love you, Mary. One shot every time. Let me bring everywhere. Oh, yeah. Why they fight you now? See channel. Officer, see channel. See channel. See channel. Radio. Culture. See channel. See channel. Officer. Officer, see channel. See channel. See channel. Answer. I just smoke it to elevate my mind. I just smoke it to deal with the hustle and the grind. I just smoke it to cope with the oh, my sweet Mary Jane, on my way. You light up my world, literally. it. Sometimes we are run it. Enough times we are done it. And when it's fresh, we are done it. Me say over the hill, the farmer man are growing. And up there in a mponya, them and them a bag it. Don't get in a happen, no cookie a buy it. Up on the streets of Lake and Rastaman a born it. Yo! Mary J, you on my brain. I love to kiss on you, Agyemang. Them did a find it growing fucking son of an brain. How could them judge you when them never even try to for them say? You never hear on the news that in the legalize. It really makes no sense to simply terrorize a planter. And now they're fully full behavior. They must stop. To bring in some jobs and foreign exchange. And let go all of the ganja prisoners from Castro. Mr. High G-Bay. Yeah. All the ghettos around the world, all the ghettos around Africa, rise and take your stand. Give them a good day. Ready to go red, yo. Legalize it across Africa. Legalize it up.
I'm here say you listening to Reggae Reverbs on Radio Culture with one and only your beloved Bad Body.